Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This one is entitled Lemonade Stand. Or in this case, it's actually not just a lemonade stand, but the Jewish lemonade stand. Actually, I believe it was an iced tea stand, but if you say iced tea stand, nobody knows what the fuck that is. So you say lemonade stand, and all the old Apple II gurus from way back in the day say, oh yeah, I used to play lemonade stand on the Apple II, man, that was great shit. And it actually, the game was clunky, but it taught you stuff about business. You could actually learn using your personal computer instead of just sit there and use your Jergens and watch my wash day washing videos. Well, anyway, back to the lemonade stand, or actually iced tea stand. This is kind of a twofold process. I had done one, my parents went away, my grandmother was watching us. It was like a Saturday or a Sunday or something. And I decided to make a pitcher of iced tea. I must have been 10 years old. And I figured I was going to bring out some paper cups and the pitcher of iced tea, and I was going to sell it for 10 cents or whatever it was. So I was 10. This is 1989, about 88, 89, somewhere in there. Anyway, sat there, didn't really get anybody, because as business dictates, it's location, location, location. We were on this random side street that nobody came down. Nope, no bites. Sat out there for hours. I was in the shade, fortunately, so that was nice. Had one of those little tables. They were metal, but like powder coated or painted or something. The top of it was just like a wire type thing. I can't really explain it, but it had these like rectangular openings, and it was white. They were all the rage in the 80s. These metal like lawn chairs, and then you could get cushions for them. They had the chairs and then the little like side table or drink table kind of thing. So I had that. It had like two little handles on it, and I brought that out, and I had my shit on it, and probably one of them metal chairs also. So that one was a bust. So my mother goes, this is like 2 years later, I'm going to say, just a guess. My mother goes over to her friend Joyce's house. Now, Joyce is super Jewish, and she has a daughter. Her daughter's name is Sari. Not Sarah, but Sari. It's probably some sort of Hebrew name that's how you say it in English or something. Don't know what it means. It's probably a form of Sarah or something like that. But anyway, Sari and I were about the same age. I think she was like a year younger than I was, if I'm not mistaken. She was maybe a little tomboyish at times, just a bit. We got along just as like kids. We weren't like boyfriend, girlfriend or anything. We were just sort of friends because our mothers were friends, and that was sort of it. And we'd play in the basement or in her room or something, and I can't say I ever had a bad time. It was just a very innocuous little thing as young kids, and that was that. No big deal. Well, we decided we were going to have a lemonade stand, or actually an iced tea stand. So the way this worked was there was they lived on this block that was off the main road, and the block actually made a U. It just came off and came right back like some ways down. And they built houses there, and that's where they lived. When you got up to the main road, you could cut into this parking lot that belonged to a church that was there. and you'd cut across the church parking lot to get to the main road, which happened to be at the intersection of two main roads. There was also a Carvel there, which still stands today, and later on a McDonald's, but it wasn't there at the time. And that also is still there today. Anyways, we had a lot of cars coming by, and we were sort of parked just over from the Carvel, sort of by the driveway that you would go into to get into the church parking lot. So we made up some iced tea, and we decided that we were going to sell the iced tea, and we were going to split money. So Sari had this little metal box. You've seen this at like flea markets and stuff, where the vendor or merchant has just this metal like cash box kind of thing. They just open it, they just toss the bills and the change in there, and they just kind of take out a wad of bills and go through to find the change that you're due and give it to you and thank you and have a good day. So she had this metal box of some kind, I think, and we set up shop. So we had some cups, we had a pitcher of iced tea, and we stayed out there for hours. And our mothers knew where we were, what we were doing. We were not far at all, just really right down the block, no big deal. And we were there, and we got some bites. We were selling it for maybe a quarter or something. I don't really remember. And we had a few interesting customers. I remember there were some people, they're like, 25 cents, how much do you get? And we showed them the cup, and they're like, that's not worth 25 cents. And they went on their way. We got horns honked at us, just like, okay, cute kids at a little stand, you know. Then we had a lady who came in, and she's like, oh my God, you kids are so cute, here's $5. And we're like, well, how much iced tea do you want? Oh, I don't want any, you kids are so cute. You know, she just gave us $5, and I'm like, man, we just made $2.50 each. That was like really awesome, you know, we were just jazzed. Well, anyway, this lady was, I guess we were sort of on the way to where she was going. And she came back the same way and turned in again and gave us another $5. So that was cool. And then there was this guy in this old beat up car. Don't remember. And he's like, a quarter. Well, how much? He had a like thermos kind of thing. How much to fill that? So we were like, I don't know, $1 or something. He gave us like $3. So at the end of the day, we made, let's say we made $15. Okay? So we were each getting like, $7.50. But Sari kept the money. And my mommy said, it's time to go home. So okay, I went home with nothing. Oh, and I forgot to mention, although I don't think it's actually consequential to if I tell you now or later, but we also got some harassers, which were some local kids. They were kind of like tough guys at school kind of thing. They came up on their bikes, and I remember they were just giving us a hard time, and Sari kind of closed the cash box and sort of like ran off with the money. Real smart, just going up the block because they're on a bike and can easily catch up to her, or just crash into her, knock her down, grab the cash box and run. It's not like there was actually a real amount of money in there, but when you're 10, 12 years old, $7.50, you know, you can buy a lot of bubble gum with that. That turns into liquor. But I digress. Anyways, I didn't get any money, but went back to Joyce's, or saw Sari again, and I said to Joyce, her mother, we decided let's do the lemonade stand or iced tea stand again. So Joyce was not too keen on it this time. I don't know why. Maybe Sari told her about the kids that came with the on the bikes or something. I don't really remember. But anyway, she wasn't too keen on it, but just sort of went along with it. And she's like, okay, well, I got to find the picture. And she had to like look around because everything in her life is like a mess. So she had to like look around her kitchen and find the picture and whatever. And then she just like poured some iced tea mix in there, filled it up with water, and got a spoon, like a teaspoon for a cup of coffee or tea or something, and put it in this pitcher, which was a good 2 quarts at least, and just sort of wibble, 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 and that was it. Threw like 5 cups on this tray or something that we had, and sent us on our way. And I said, hey, I never got the money from Sari last time. Oh, well, here. And she gave me like $3. So I was supposed to get $7.50. And she gave me like $3. And I said, no, we made $15. We said we were going to split it evenly. You know, that's $7.50. She said, well, I had to deduct for cups and iced tea mix and things. All right, listen. We're not breaking the bank here, okay? This is not a tremendous amount of money that we're talking about. $3.50. Back in those days, you could buy an entire canister of fucking iced tea for $3.50. And we used maybe a gallon's worth, which would have been, if the formula today is the same, that would have been, I don't know, a cup and a half, 2 cups out of it, something like that. Water is, for all intents and purposes, free or free enough. I mean, it's 2 quarts, half a gallon, that's half a penny around here, and I don't even know what in the hell it cost back then. So the cost for that is negligible. And as far as the cups, how much iced tea did we really sell? 10 cups worth? What do you get? 100 in a fucking pack? So we're talking a tenth of that? Even if that pack sold for $5, that's 50 cents. So maybe $1 out of it. If she would have given me $5, it would have been, you know, but I was like, the fucking Jewish lemonade stand. I'll never forget that. I had to deduct. Are you fucking for real? Did you only want your daughter to get the money? Because if you did, just tell me outright, and I'll say fuck you, and I'll leave. That's all. I mean, was that the whole premise to it? I really don't understand. Now, could my mother have chipped in for the cups and the iced tea mix? Yeah, but again, we're talking a few fucking dollars. And she's fucking nickel and diming shit. But yet I remember that. Now, in this day and age, I don't give a flying fuck through a rolling donut about the $3.50. But again, it's the principle of it. Because, you know, if we make that $350, that's a lot different than $3.50. So on the order of magnitude that it meant nothing. It was literally pennies. But, you know, on a larger order of magnitude, that could be a significant chunk of change. The percentage is still the same. She cut my earnings practically to fucking half. Actually, less than half I got. And that just wasn't fucking right. That really just was not right. So, I'm scarred for life from lemonade and iced tea stands. The good news, I guess, is that this kind of shit doesn't really go on anymore in this day and age. Maybe does in some circles, these tight-knit, like Mormon communities or something, where everybody praises, you know, the Latter-day Saints, and they're all fucked up people out somewhere in the, and they all kind of have this, everybody's house looks the same, and they're all McMansions. They were all built at the same time, and everybody's in debt up to their eyeballs and shit like that, and everybody's beliefs are the same, and they're just these clusters of fucked up people, and oh, nothing bad ever happens in our neighborhood, although of course it happens in any neighborhood. And they send their kids out, and their neighbors come by and say, oh, here's $1 for some iced tea or lemonade or something, and everybody just gets along in this tight-knit, happy fucking family that just doesn't exist in this day and age. Back in the 80s, though, or 90, 91 maybe it was, this was still viable. It could go on. As a matter of fact, a number of years ago, there were some kids down on my block who had set up a little lemonade stand. I had made a video, I forget what it was called. I was looking for Big Ball. Apparently he escaped from the backyard. And I just went around with the camera obnoxiously, and I knew where it was because I saw it when I was driving to work at the time. It somehow escaped, made it all the way to the main road, and either hit a sharp something and popped, or a car hit it and it popped or something, and it was by a storm drain, and that was the deal with it. But there was a little lemonade stand that they had set up. Now, we didn't give them any money, and I don't know, it was a number of years ago I made that video. It had to be like, I don't know, 7 years ago maybe? 7? Yeah, we'll go about 7. I'll look it up. There will be a link in the description to that video. Might have just, I think I got a couple seconds of them over there. So anyway, maybe it is still a little bit viable in these days. Vaguely remember seeing them out because I was like out in the morning and then went out later looking for Big Ball. So they like took a break or something, brought everything in, and came back out later. But we do get a fair amount of cars going down the block here. If they made any money, I don't know. But maybe it still exists if your parents aren't too petrified about crazies out in the world and that. I mean, you got to let your kids grow up a little bit. I mean, if you send them out with their fucking straight jacket and helmet, so they don't get injured or anything, into the world, they're going to end up like certain fan twerps and watcher twerps and other twerps like that. And, if you kind of let them go out there and just get a little bit banged up, falling off their bike and stuff like that, they get a sense for life and what it's really like. And maybe those kids who came by on the bike were a kid version of a life lesson later on in life, to keep your valuables locked up, or you're going to have assholes anywhere you go, or something. Maybe it meant something, I don't know, and it never processed from back then. So this became very philosophical. I'm losing daylight. So that's going to do it for this episode of Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. And you never do know what they're putting in the iced tea these days. So, not sure on that. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.